Welcome back to Unraveling the Brain. I'm your host, Dr. Josh Madsen. Today, we have an awesome opportunity to talk with the co-owner of Infinity, Colorado, and get his experience of when he came here, why he wanted to help Infinity spread to the Denver area, and sharing his experience. So if you are someone that's in Denver, this is going to be a very, very applicable podcast for you guys to understand the heart behind why we came to Denver in the first place. And I hope you guys really enjoy this conversation. Let's dive in. Hi, Rob.
Hey, Josh. Thanks for having me today.
Yeah, thanks for being here. Welcome to Iowa, to the podcast studio. And what I want to kind of get to here is, obviously you are a co-owner of Infinity in Denver there, and I want you to share why you wanted to do that in the first place, because obviously it's a large investment in not only money but time and resources, and and share that experience of you being here the first time and what made you want to help kids in that area.
Sure. So I have a 14-year-old son named Henry, and Henry had 2 skiing accidents which had resulted in concussions, as well as a basketball being thrown to his head and he fell back and hit the wall. So he had 3 concussions in probably a 3-year period of time. He also had kind of level 1 autism, and we had him tested at a variety of places, and the result that we received was that Henry basically was not going to be able to learn like other children, and we needed to get comfortable with the fact that like maybe bagging groceries was the most that we could hope for with Henry. And my wife was not going to accept this as kind of an answer, nor was I. And so she did a lot of research and found Infinity and did a consult with you. And after she got off the phone call, she said, Rob, you're going to Iowa. I'm like, I'm going where? And she said, you're going to Iowa for 2 weeks with Henry, and we're going to make an investment in him. And, if it does what Dr. Josh says it's going to be amazing. And if not, well, we spent a little bit of money and we wasted some time. So we came out here, and, my notion was that I was just going to sort of drop Henry off. I hadn't brought my golf clubs. I was going to let him do his thing at the clinic and pick him up at the end of the day. And I came to the back to watch the initial kind of
Evaluation.
The intake evaluation. And I was just completely consumed with what I was watching, and I wanted to learn more. So in the 2 weeks that I was here, I never left the back. I never went anywhere else other than kind of watching Henry and getting to know all the staff. And, I made friends with Dr. Tanner and really learned as much as I possibly could in that 2-week period of time, because what I witnessed was amazing. And what I didn't know about my child was incredible. I mean, it was explained to me that, his cerebellum was not communicating properly with his frontal lobe. He had vision problems. He had significant balance issues, and I witnessed it. And it was shocking to me because Henry could do flips on the trampoline. He played lacrosse. He could ski, and I had no knowledge that Henry had no ability to, balance on a bow stick ball. And in a 2-week period of time, his balance was cured. And we had put Henry in a special school because he was, quite frankly, he had behavioral issues and was going to get thrown out of the normal school system.
Yep. So you guys moved from Aspen down to Denver just specifically for that reason, correct?
That's right. It was a big motivating factor for us to try to get Henry the help that he needed. And we came to Infinity in April of 23 and again in June of 23. And by the time we moved to Denver, actually it was 24, in September of 24, we put him into that special school for 3 weeks and decided that he didn't need to be there. And we put him in the normal school system. So I think there's a long answer to everything that I saw. I was like, I didn't know anybody that had heard of this method of treatment. And I felt like that there's so many people across the world that we can help. And so since I was in Denver, the third largest airport in the United States and sixth in the world. I thought that would be a great place for us to
Yeah,
start a
for
clinic.
sure. Yeah, and, maybe talk about the differences that obviously that you noticed by being here, but you had gone a lot of places prior to coming to us and seen a lot of specialists and stuff like that, and maybe sharing some insights for maybe some other parents that have a kid that has had multiple concussions and, is struggling of what we looked at that was different or what other people didn't look at, I think would be helpful for them.
Quite frankly, yes, we took him to, Children's Hospital in Denver, which supposedly has one of the best concussion clinics in the U.S. And they did a lot of exercises and, activities and follow up. But the results were, well, one, they didn't identify any issues with balance. So there was no cure there. So at the end of the day, I really, our results were nil. Like we spent a lot of money and we got pretty much no satisfaction from the process. We also did things, with the Aspen Hospital. They have a concussion clinic there as well. And the results were, again, nil. So, we definitely tried different things. We did different tests. And, we're kind of being forced to hunker down and accept the new Henry. And, it was only by chance that, through some social media that my wife, Megan, stumbled across Infinity. She was impressed enough with, the interview and informational session that she had with you, Dr. Josh, that, she was willing to commit and send us. And, I was like, I probably never would have come, but
Yeah, and it just shows the importance of like I'm sure there's probably a lot of activities that those other clinics were doing that we did the same thing, but the only difference is that we added components that most people never look at, like the cellular component, the energy production component by using lasers, by using oxygen therapies to get more energy production, and then doing those activities. Honestly, for the most part, probably besides maybe some primitive reflex work and stuff like that that a lot of other places don't do the most part, a lot of them were probably pretty similar activities in a lot of ways are trying to affect the same systems, but they're just missing that cellular component that is so vital for these people that have concussions. So we now have opened the clinic in Denver. It took a little over a year process. It was a fun process, but a lot of work. It's open, it's running, it's rolling, and it's been really cool to see the changes that are already happening there. But maybe you can give some insight into that clinic now that it's up and running and your experience of seeing that clinic in comparison to this one and as it's gotten up and rolling.
so yeah, it was a long process and, trying to find the exact, perfect piece of real estate to build our business in. And I think we have found a fantastic location that has great parking in a nice area, close to all kinds of activities. It's a beautiful office in a beautiful area, and it's in Colorado. So, like, if you come for a 2 week session, you can drive an hour and be in the mountains and enjoy everything that colorful Colorado has to offer. As far as the office itself, staffing it was something that Dr. Josh and I worked very hard, to find exceptional clinicians to be able to, maintain the Infinity way. I think that was one of the things that was really important to Dr. Josh, as well as me, is that if you come to one Infinity, whether it's in Colorado or it's in Iowa, you're going to get the exact same experience. And, we have taken the time to find people that are willing to come to Iowa and spend a significant amount of time training, with Dr. Josh and his team here, so that when we, were ready to open the doors after, a lengthy process in Denver, we would hit the ground running. And, having spent, many weeks here myself, 3 weeks, with my child, but also coming out and, being a co-owner of an operation and, making sure that I'm in tune with what's going on here, you know, I can tell you that we've accomplished our goal, that we have, maintained the integrity of our brand, and we have the integrity of our people following the same, procedures that whether you go to Iowa or Denver are the same. So very exciting.
Yeah, I go out there for the initial week and going back and whatnot of just seeing how everything is, everything is being tested appropriately. Everything is being relayed and educated to the parent really, really well. Therapies are going super smooth with great results really quickly. And results are happening extremely fast. And that's just, it's so cool to see that for me, that all the processes and systems that we've developed here can be taught in, our training period is long comparison to most places, I think, but it takes a little bit to learn, obviously, but that those things can be translated relatively efficiently over to a new clinic and see that those kids can get results. And now, it's a huge blessing of like we're able to make impact on kids' lives that if it was just me, I could only see one kid at a time. But now we can help, many, many children at one time. And it's just so cool to see those systems translate over and especially, places in other time zones and, hundreds and hundreds of miles away. So
Well, I mean, what I would add to that is, getting involved in kind of the whole building and going through the process of getting the office operational. I mean, that was arduous and taxing and, at times not fun. And sometimes you forget kind of what the whole reason why you were doing this. But, once we opened the office, seeing the children make significant progress and the gratitude that our clients, the parents of the children that are there, it's amazing. I mean, tearful eyes at the end of the week or 2 week intensive session because their child is doing something that they've never done before. We hear that story every single week, when the sessions are over. And that's what's, really special that to me is that, we're doing it and we're doing it in Denver and we're doing it for more people and children.
yeah, yeah, which is awesome. Rob, thanks for your time today. Really appreciate you, obviously being here and continuing to learn and grow that clinic out there. And so hopefully we can help just a ton of kids out there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for trusting me as a partner, Dr. Josh.
For sure. All right. Thanks, everyone. Have an awesome day.